All right, team. Confirming everything's working. I got a thumbs up back there. I'm gonna look anyway. Off the YouTube. Okay. That's what I'm confirming right now. Yep. All right, team. Day 2 of quarantine jiu-jitsu here. I'm just gonna go through our basic warm-ups. I'm basically gonna try to be like an encyclopedia for some warm-ups for you today, and also showing you how to do more dummy drills, and more post drills, and that sort of thing. Just gonna make sure my timer is where it should be. Should be there. All right, we're just gonna start out with standard basic warm-up. Just gonna do 10 side kicks, 10 forward kicks. You can follow along if you want, or just watch me. This is basically just for me, just basic health and warm-up sort of thing. Should be big, wide motion side to side on this if you're following along. See, I can kick up to my shoulder. I don't expect everybody to be so flexible. Been very groggy with the weather and not being able to train or see anybody. Big hugs, alternating his arms left over right, try to twist the shoulder blades. Do that DX style. Sore chest and lat muscles. Do these with my palms facing forward. Giving yourself a big hug. If you need it, feet shoulder width apart. Twisting motions. Gi doesn't want to stay intact. Big circles out of head and neck, turn the chest, move your shoulder, forward, backwards, side to side. Need to self-adjust. You can do that as needed. Look, there's pop. Not always recommended though. Do what you can going in between chiropractor visits. I don't think anybody does have that now. All right, I'm just going to do 1 minute of squats on this. I'm just going to be concentrating on my breathing. That's what you should always be doing, locking your breath to your movement. Head aligned with my shoulders and my hips. Feet facing forward. I'm going to try to concentrate and keep my weight on my heels here. I like to look up just to keep my balance here. Arms nice and tight. I'm just going to go to that minute. And I'll reset. Probably do some push-ups on that. Just a basic warm-up. Like I said, I'm going to show a bunch of jiu-jitsu style warm-ups. In through the nose. Exhale to the mouth. Once again, locking your breath to the movement. First rule, one of the rules of jiu-jitsu, don't choke yourself, or just rule of living, breathe. Timer's still going, 15 more seconds. Nice hip thrust helps. And that's about to be nice. Just gonna drop into push-up position, do the same thing for about 1 minute. Push-up parachuters on that. I'm just gonna put this in front so I can see. Oh, parachuter. Then in through the nose, exhale through the mouth as you parachute. 50 more seconds. Yeah, these warm-ups are mostly for me. If you want to be following along, up to you. You work out too, you know. This is a record of it. I'm doing it. Everybody has the routine. This is basically the routine I'll try to do every day. Try to stay functional. Crazy ones. Sweet. Let's just flip over to the back side. Just gonna do it in the middle as a deep breath version. Just gonna draw a big breath in through my nose, kind of like you need a wake up stretch. Flex the body like you just woke up. Big breath in. Exhale out. Never hold your breath. It's just quality, not quantity. just gonna get some streamers in on this. I'm gonna start with circles inward on this. And the rotation is gonna come from our hips, not necessarily our knees. It's just directions how I work. Do it however you feel like it. I used to think there was only one direction. I used to think I only had one shoulder to roll over too. You can get some speed, usually helps. This is the direction I used to always think you could stream. Inside works very well too. Nice. So I'm going to do some kind of dynamic style stretching. Like it's not like all boring and static. We're going to do some rocking. I'm just going to rock myself back, bring my legs over my hip line. I'm going to sit up, just going to stretch a little bit. And do that again. And every time, I'm just going to try to stretch a little bit further, get my legs a little bit wider, lean my body a little bit further. Rock, bring myself up. You might get a little bit of a back warm up out of this too. Just little by little further and further. You might see a couple familiar ones. I'm gonna use one that I've seen Hickson do from choke. There we go. So let's just keep it simple for right now. I'm gonna keep this leg forward, one leg back. I'm pretty flexible. I know maybe not everybody can do this, but one leg forward, one leg back on this. So we're gonna make this a little dynamic too. Just gonna basic stretch, just a couple more seconds. So watch how this is gonna be dynamic. I'm gonna bring both feet in front. I'm gonna transfer my weight to my butt, bend both legs, kind of like you would an omoplata. Now I'm gonna lean forward on that. Just a couple more seconds on that. We'll be switching back and forth. This is just to make sure we don't hurt ourselves when we start going a little bit faster on this. You need some weight transfer. If you're not so flexible, weight transfer your hand. Bring the legs to the side. Now I'm here. You can lean one way or the other as needed. But right now, I'm going to move side to side on this. Lean my weight to my hand. Bring my legs forward. Lean my weight to my hand. Bring my legs forward. Lean my weight to my hand. Bring my legs forward. Lean my weight to my hand. Bring my legs forward. And you can do this a little bit different too. You can bring your hips completely under here. All right. And then bring my leg all the way through. To the side, weight transfer, leg under, both hands, leg passes under. Now we're in front. So let's change this up a little bit. Just trying to figure out what the best shot is going to be for this. Here we go. So same formation with our legs. So we're going to add a Granby roll to this. Okay. So I'm going to draw my elbow, my shoulder to near where my knee is. And I'm going to go over the small of the top part of my back here, not over my head or my neck. I'm going to rotate to the other side here. And I should be set up for the other side stretch here. Okay, I'm going to move myself over here. Do the same old thing on this side. Shoulder to shoulder, open up. And bring myself here. I'm just going to do it side to side a little bit. Close. It happens when we do goofy moves like this. It's just getting ourselves stretched and warmed up, moving like jiu-jitsu all at the same time. So speaking of that, let's do some more motion here. So I did a video on the long step. It was just a quick little 2-minute blurb of how to do the long step from a turtle position. I want to show a little bit more of a complicated way to do the long step. It's going to help me to show some stuff on the dummy, maybe not today, maybe later, or if we ever work one-on-one together after all this purge stuff is done, and we can work on that. So just to gloss over what I showed before, we're going to be in the turtle position here. Turtles defined by elbows and knees, right? And I'm going to set one leg up more than the other here. Okay, so I'll set my leg up. I don't want to be too far. I don't want to be too close. Somewhere there in between. And I'm going to be switching my arm over. So I'm just going to demonstrate that real quick. And I should do a 180 in this action here. Switch, elbow, knee, hip, foot. Looks like I did that full one turn. Keep my post nice and good. And I didn't take myself out. So I'm going to go back around the other way. Set my leg up, elbow, knee, hip, foot. So this is the basics if you guys missed it. But we're going to make this a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to step one leg up or the other leg up. It all kind of depends on how you feel like passing your opponent's guard. So I'm just going to start with my right leg up on this. And let's see, yeah, this looks like a good angle for that. So instead of being low in the turtle position, now I'm going to be up. I'm going to be in a situation where I'm trying to pass my opponent's guard, whatever the situation is. So this is how I'm going to drop down to my elbow. So I'm going to drop down to my knee first, then my elbow's going to touch. Then I'm going to do wide foot on that. To finish this motion, bring my leg under. I'm going to just go back the other direction. Hopefully I'm still in the shot here. Looks like I am. So I'm going to go left knee down, elbow down, foot goes down to stop my momentum. Very, very important. It always kind of, especially if you're thinking passing, head more forward than our butt is going to be a good thing. I think just in general, head more forward than our butt is always a good situation, so we have good balance. If I don't do that, I'm going to end up falling back and sweeping myself. Okay. So I'm just going to set the timer for a minute on this, and you're going to be able to just watch me do some motion side to side on this, and I'll change the angle a couple times. Here we go. So I'll start forward. I'm not a lefty normally, but we try it. Yeah. Long, wide step. Got momentum, really trying to keep my head more forward than my butt. Talking to myself. Right leg. Stop myself. There. Almost done. Up. Legs up. This angle. Forward. Sorry, team. I yet still have one more to show on this. Okay. So we were on one knee, right? So the next logical step is to come up. Okay. I don't really advocate doing a long step from standing, but it can still work just fine if you're doing it from standing. You know, you just have to drill enough that it works at the right time. You know, but the body motion is hard enough. You know, but all this stuff, you know, I should have prefaced all of this with this. Like imagine any of these moves, like doing it with a human being. It's harder than human. Imagine when you're doing it by yourself. If you're messing it up by yourself, just imagine how hard it's going to be with a human. That's how I kind of always talk about body motions. And as you can tell, I do a lot of body motions by myself. I spend a lot of time on the mat. I have a lot of free time. And also an unfortunate aspect is we don't always have somebody to train with, but at least you can kind of feel like more secure with your body motion, with your tool chest when you're able to work on your own. Anyway, without talking too much more here, let's do that same motion, but from standing here. Kind of a big motion, so I make sure I have enough space. Same old thing. Almost kind of like a shot, like a wrestling shot. I'm going to drive my front knee down. And I'm going to be thinking I'm going to be trying to grab my opponent's invisible head on me. So I'm going to drive down, grab their invisible head, down here. You know, and sometimes you might be caught in half guard wherever the situation is. You know, I like to reach the side of the leg at that point, take my leg out, and you're solidifying side control, invisible side control. So with my right leg forward, this is generally probably where I'll do it, because I'm a righty. You're here, thinking about driving my front knee down, grabbing the invisible head, get my good post on the mat, and bring my leg under. So as you notice if you should notice with this long step, I'm actually only kind of doing a half turn, as opposed to when I was here, we do this big fluid turn. And don't worry, there's going to be times to do that. I'll probably end up showing what to do without a dummy. Shout out to Dr. Mike. I've ever seen him doing his long steps on his dummy, and his setup's pretty awesome in his garage. But let's go ahead. I'm going to set the timer. I'm just going to do some long steps from standing, just so we can get the encyclopedia going in my head. Yeah, doing pretty good on time. Just making sure I'm not going too far, talking too much. All right, here we go. From standing, I'm going to go to my bad side first. Left leg down. Half turn. Here. Left leg down. Half turn. And you should be hearing that good foot smack. It means I'm stopping a good amount of momentum. I guess my bad side is my good side. Maybe I should remember that. Here. Down. Wrong. No. Yes, definitely. Left side's better. Leg forward. Half turn. Got 20 seconds. One leg forward. Drive my knee forward. Keep myself. Left knee forward. Drive. Leg under. Forward. Drives down. Foot. Hit forward, but backward. Leg passes under. Nice. All right. Let's do a couple other motions that may or may not help us today, but they're going to kind of help me to calm my lungs down just a little. All right. So let's do some pendulum motions on this. I know you maybe see Gumby, myself talk about pendulum motions over and over and over, but I don't know why. For some reason, I've been doing it wrong for years. Just like a lot of things, we kind of feel like we've learned a technique when we've kind of just gone through the technique as opposed to feeling it and using the concepts that you should be using, not using too much strength. And that's kind of like an honest conversation that you need to have with yourself through sparring and going through those questions like, is it too big, or did I not have a big enough engine? Whatever. Anyway, back to the pendulum. So like I said, even as a black belt, I was doing it wrong still. So I don't know what it was. It's probably like 8 months ago. Or maybe I'm giving myself too much credit. I realized how much power I was robbing myself of. Okay. So let me show you what I mean. You may or may not be this person, but I'm just emphasizing this because we have all the time in the world, and I can talk what I want to talk about here. Okay. So I used to kick my pendulum, whether it's on my back or on my sideways, like so here. So I'll just straighten my leg. See how I'm kind of like a 90-degree angle with my leg versus my torso. Then I'll just kick to the side here. I mean, I move my body, but it's really not that strong. If you're trying to use this in combat, it may or may not work depending on who you are, who your body is, but you're robbing yourself of a lot of power here. Okay, so what you're gonna do instead, I'm gonna start to wind my leg up. See how my body's straight? Okay, if I can, I'm gonna kick past that point too. If I was in sideways, I had somebody in my guard, I would do this the exact same way. I'm here, I have you sideways, you're facing the ground. Maybe I've done an arm drag or something. The moment I need to sweep you, I have to consciously do this next thing. Because if you just try to kick here, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work for me. I'm really small, so I don't rob myself of power anymore. So stretch your leg out. And right now, I can kick past that point, but for me, I'll kick to where I feel my opponent's hip bone around on my knee joint. So I've kicked as far as I can. So now I know I haven't robbed myself of any power. Now I do a big kick. I know that's a long-winded explanation, but sometimes if it's something you've been doing wrong for a lot of years, needs that long-winded, passionate explanation. Okay. So we're going to be here, straight leg. See how I just not wound up my leg. I didn't rob myself of any power. But if you're just here, you're robbing yourself of power. I'm not calling anybody out, but I see people do this all the time when I'm trying to speak about not robbing yourself of any power passionately and all that sort of thing. They just end up doing it the way they want to. Back to that same conversation before, you're just trying to get through the technique. You're not trying to feel it. Okay, you got to feel the technique. You have to feel it work. But that's something that we can't teach you. We don't live inside your body. I've been telling people this a lot. Like, I don't live inside your body. I'm not your best teacher. You are your own best teacher because you feel. Am I using too much energy? Am I just relying on my strengths? Whatever it is. Believe me, I've been using my flexibility and doing a lot of things. Not necessarily wrong. I could be doing things better sooner, and I'm sure all of us can say that just as going through life and that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to do pendulums for a whole minute. Sorry about the side tangent. Sucking at jiu-jitsu. Here we go. One leg straight, one leg bend. Bring myself to the other side. And if there's any break dancers, and I know we have some break dancers, maybe in the audience, or ex-heroes or current heroes, this is how you kind of create a good windmill. And I'm not doing it as good. I'm holding the torch to some of the Eugenios or anybody else, but I'm doing what I can. Don't rob yourself of any power or shit. Don't rob yourself of any power. And this is also a good one too. Kind of reminds me of the side-to-side hit. Don't rob yourself of any power. Don't rob yourself of any power. And obviously, at some point, we use our whole body for this, not just our leg, rock, and everything. Whoop, rob yourself of power. Turn yourself to the side. Change the angle on this. Sideways, see, big wind of motion. You really should just be concentrating on what the leg's doing, but the rest of our body will be doing something. This is just one part of it. Perfect. Saw zeros, but it didn't stop. Nice. Okay. So once again, probably one that people hate. I definitely didn't used to be as good at this as I am now. Okay. So I used to be the guy that used to be 4 to 5 motions on this. So we're gonna do pendulum motions on the small lower back now. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Gumby's gone for this too. This is just something that we all have to work on. If I'm a black belt telling you that this is something I've been doing wrong for a long time, this might be something that you're doing wrong. Okay. So I'm gonna go straight leg, same old thing. Not robbing myself of any power. So if I'm just going here, you're definitely gonna be robbing yourself of power. Okay. So straighten my leg. I'm gonna kick way out to the side here. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a good day. I can do 3 motions because my right leg's really strong on that. So watch this. I might even be able to make a full 180 on this. So reach out really wide. Whoa, look at that. Winning. That's because I'm not robbing myself of any power. Once I realized that I have to rob myself of power, I was like, wow, this is so much easier. I could have saved myself so much more energy, but that's how it is in jiu-jitsu. You know, even me being small, I try to use too much strength, too much energy. Anyway, I'm gonna go, yeah, oh, that wasn't much of a full turn, but 1 more motion. See, 3 motions. That was good enough. Other side's probably not gonna be so good. Same old thing though. Don't rob myself of any power. Big wide leg. Wasn't so bad. So it looks like I'm like a 4 pace. There you go. Straight leg, boom, and yep, 4 pace. So I'm just gonna go 1 circle left, 1 circle right on that. And I'm probably gonna start to show a lesson on the dummy finally. There we go. Straight leg, kick, straight leg, kick, straight leg, kick. That's my good day on my right side. Straight leg, kick, straight leg, kick, straight leg, kick, straight leg. Sweet. All right, let's get my dummy in this mix. All right. Let's see, this could be good. Okay. All right. Lucky I didn't make everybody do a minute of sprawls, but this is where the minute of sprawls is going to come, at least for me. I know some of us have grappling dummies, so this is certainly a drill that you're going to do. So let me preface this one. I've done this drill a lot because I've screwed up from this position a lot. So for me, I feel like the north-south turtle is a position, well, like, you know, obviously, you can say that about any position where, like, people have problems with this position, but I think there's something about the north-south turtle that really screws people up, meaning, like, there's this wrestler mentality where it's like, they want to get up and they want to try to take you down because maybe that's all they know, or maybe they don't know anything and that's all that their instincts tell them to do. And then there's another situation where I'm on top and I start to get tunnel vision on this neck, thinking like I'm going to guillotine you or do some sort of crazy choke or whatever. So both parties kind of equally screw up. I feel like kind of equal. You know, this person, one, for me, I'm the person that anytime I would get up and try to go for the legs, and granted, it probably took me a long time to learn how to do that right, I would get sprawled on. Like my face would just hit the mat, and my brain would think, oh, I hate wrestling, it doesn't work, or I'm too weak, or whatever. But obviously, it takes time to learn technique and how to do things properly. But that was seared into my brain. It was just something that I would really never want to do, and I never want to stay in this position. Meaning, if I was on top here, and if I was the bottom person, I would not want to stay here. But equally on top, I do not want to stay here because once again, my story, I'm a smaller dude. I generally am going to get wrestled, or people who might not wrestle me just based on size and strength and that sort of thing. I don't want to stay there. I mean, it's taken a long time for me to even feel like I have a good guillotine. Some of us probably feel a lot of the same way. The gi is this big barrier. It takes a long time to be able to even get to the neck. So train more no gi, you'll feel more comfortable with the guillotine. But I feel like the most mistakes that I make are going to be sticking around here on top, right? It's going to be a severe mistake for me, I feel, if I'm here. Obviously, belly down is the worst position you could be in. But, you know, people are reaching and they're trying to bring themselves up. I don't want to stay in the north-south turtle. I've been darshed too many times. I don't remember the last time I've been guillotined, but go ahead and call me out, people. But getting darsh choked from there is annoying, and just getting caught up in that position. I'm not really afraid of getting my back taken so much, but I'm afraid of my neck doing attack. But anyway, with all that spiel, just the summary of all that is I feel like for some reason in jiu-jitsu, when I see with beginners and when you start to get to the higher levels, like this is a position where people will screw up. Like when somebody coming up on you, they'll think, oh, control the neck, right? And it wasn't maybe the time for you to control the neck and you got flipped over. That's where you may have screwed up. And then what I'm trying to train us to do is make this person pay forever trying to turtle, or for that matter, even turn sideways. And of course, in a perfect world, you'd love to keep somebody flat. But, physics tell me that I can keep somebody down all the time. If you wrap somebody up with a gi all crazy, that's one thing. But, I'm just trying to play the percentages a lot. Most of the time, people are going to be able to move on me, so they end up at least turning here. So in my old class, or not my old class, but in class on Monday, I was talking about those predictabilities. Okay, so obviously when I pass somebody's guard, they're going to generally be taught to turn towards me, unless they have some sort of crazy sophisticated defense. It's not really crazy. It doesn't have to be that sophisticated. You just have to kind of know what you're doing if you turn the wrong way. Okay, that is probably a subject for later, and there are some people that like to turn the wrong way to escape and move back. But most of the time, most of us are trained to turn towards your opponent. Okay, for the most part, you always want to try to keep your opponent in your vision. That's just one of the basic things, and it's just harder to fight something that you can't see. Not impossible, just a little bit harder. So they end up turning towards you. Okay, so this is a huge moment. So I feel like in this moment, when people think, "Oh, I'm going to hold this guy down," right? It's already the wrong thing, right? Because you should have been flattening him out, right? That would have been great. But if they're here and they're turning sideways, this isn't the time to hold the guy. He's already going to be turning, right, grabbing your legs and all that sort of thing. So that's the first thing that we're going to address is when they turn up and grab your legs. Because obviously, I addressed two situations where you could have fixed this. You could have fixed this by having a more solid side control, but even then, sometimes people will just buck me off, right? Just the physics of benching 145 off, right? I may have been in a situation too where I could have long stepped from here, but I had tunnel vision. I say this a lot to people. What I mean by tunnel vision is you were thinking too much about what maybe happened before, or maybe that exact moment that's happening right now, not really seeing what's going to happen later. Okay, or you should be seeing what's happening later, seeing what at least being a step ahead when it comes to that predictability, right? So I would never stay here. So the thing that I see with white belts is like you're here, right? And before you know it, you get caught in half guard, and you get caught in full guard. And high levels, when some guys they're neglecting controlling people's legs, you should be worrying about their legs. Like I was saying on Monday, I like to stay away from my opponent's guard, just trying to stay away. But this is kind of the end result of this. When I'm trying to run on people, right? This is another sort of game that I like to play to open people up. Like putting the knee on somebody's neck really entices them to move and turn and do sort of things. This is kind of the mean thing that I'll do to guys when they know I'm baiting them to move. When they don't want to move, well, you're going to be taking some pressure. Sometimes I'll be mean and put my head in people's stomach, right? Really, really mean. I know I've done that to plenty of people around here. But usually the end result of this is that they're going to turn. And of course, I would love to finish my opponent, maybe with a near side arm or far side arm, or anything that you may have stayed on their back submissively for. But, somebody's nice and tight. You have to entice them to move. They're going to move in predictable ways. How are they going to move? Well, if he moves toward me, I like to stay away from the legs at all points. Yeah, obviously there's more technical things that I can do with that. If he moves away from me, he's making my job really, really easy. We can control the bulldozer position. This is really good for me. Unless he really, really knows what he's doing with his recovery at this point. It's pretty rare when you lose this position, but there's always a situation under the sun that might occur. You're never in a 100% situation. Even maybe if you're choking a guy, there's always a defense to a defense that's going to be the same. So I've been talking a lot and not showing anything, but it's important to talk about all these concepts. So, situation, your opponent is sprawled. You've made plenty of mistakes. You shouldn't be thinking about those mistakes. You should be thinking about what should I do here, okay? So just basics in jiu-jitsu. I always want my opponent in front of me. I never want to be in front of my opponent. So we're going to use that long step to get out of our opponent's vision because I don't want to deal with getting taken down. I don't want to deal with any of that, okay? Or getting sat out on. That's what I would prefer to do. If I was this person on bottom, if I was turtling, right, and this thing wants to turtle with me, well, a quick sit out is a good thing to do, right? I know I didn't really talk about working on sit-outs. There's just so many things to work on. That's in our turtle position when it comes up. It's a little bit similar to the long step, but not quite, right? That's what I prefer to do, or step one leg up or the other, depending on which side your head's on, and going for a sit-in on that. There's also crazy rolls and stuff that you can do from there, but let's just keep it simple for now. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the top person. Just the way that I'm going to be doing this drill, I'm always going to be starting from standing, but the sprawl is still going to occur if you're in side control. Very, very important to sprawl out in both scenarios. If somebody tries to go for a takedown, sprawl, make their face smash on the mat. If I was in side control, right, they turn, I absolutely have to sprawl here. What is a sprawl? My hips thrusting down on my opponent and wide leg release. So everybody can't really see, but I'll show a little bit wider legs, as wide as you possibly can on this. Okay, so this is going to be just a little bit different because the way I was demonstrating the long step and the videos prior we're in a turtle position. Okay, this is just the basic way to show it, because if I start to show too much from here, everybody gets kind of screwed up. So I was just trying to show this basic position here. But now you're going to basically be drilling it from here, right? Sprawl, that's sprawl. So both legs are already sprawled. So there has to just be a one little subtle step, whichever side that I want to go on this. Okay. So I like long stepping to my left. It's just what I tend to do a lot. It's just how I feel like well, it's based on predictability. It's not that I don't know why. Because I'm right-handed, I end up passing this direction a lot. And this is another thing to think about too. It's like if your opponent's right-handed, they're going to end up passing to your right a lot. So therefore, you're going to get good at controlling this leg, my right leg, between their two legs here. You're going to end up getting really good at this side and recovering on that side. So for me, I'm always trying to go around the head, right? So when they turn towards me, I end up long stepping to the left a lot. This is why I got really good at long stepping to the left, just based on this predictability. Because I keep taking the same path, I create the same situations. And that's something that you should always be thinking about, because you want to create a constant. Like, I feel like jiu-jitsu is kind of like the science experiment. Like it's a situation where you have to really be honest with yourself. So, okay, did I drink enough water today? Did I eat enough food? Is my mind in it, right? Did you remember your friggin' belt or your gi or whatever the situation is, right? It's the science experiment. But if you don't do the same things, you can't really expect improving results, or you don't have this control. Okay, you don't have this control. So control the things that you can control. And we come in here, obviously, you need to be your own best teacher. And I preach all these things over and over and over. Anyway, I've been going on long tangents. Let's see how long I can tangent. Hey, not too bad. All right, let's go sprawl. So I'm going to be starting from standing, and I'm going to be doing more drills. And I know I'm doing a lot less drills than I was last time. Not because I'm lazy, I'm just talking a lot. So I'm going to go sprawl. That's always the first thing. Okay, I'm just being nice, putting my hands down here, and also just to get rid of that impact. I would never just throw my weight down from that height down, right? There's some cushioning. So I'm going to put my hands on the top of their back here. And I'm going to push myself down here, okay? Because I want to step to my left, I'm better at stepping to my left. And remember, I don't want to sweep myself, because if I don't move my arms around, I'm going to end up sweeping myself. So step, elbow, knee, hip, foot. And now I have myself in a hip right position, okay? The dummy's flat, so I can't really get back to the hip right situation, but my hip is connected to my opponent's hip, right, or the dummy's hip. I would make sure that I have our leg down here, but I'm not going to stay here long, because usually because of the situation of sprawling over my opponent, and they're showing a situation they were thinking about going for a takedown, something that might be good for them, but they might have been feeling that the inertia of getting face smashed to the mat. I kind of want to make them hit. So watch how I'm going to kind of turn and go perpendicular to my opponent's hips on this, their shoulders and their hips. So as I reach in, right arm to the front of the neck, not inside here, front of the neck. And now watch what my right leg's going to do. Way out here. Now I'm going to windshield wiper, the one that's always near the head, for now, towards the head. So right now I can feel that my toes can kind of fit inside of that space. If he was coming up to turtle, see, if I stay here, this is dumb. Most people will always start to bring their hips up. In that moment of them bringing their hips up, my far leg that was way out here is going to sneak inside of that near side hook. At the same time, I would prefer to try to collapse my opponent here. I'm creating a couple different angles on this. Long step. Here, I'm here, but I'm hungry on the back. Maybe it was that one opportunity I was waiting for, that I was waiting the time. And I will wait the time, just the basic predictable movements that I was talking about, right? So near side leg, that's near the shoulder, foot, windshield wiper in, okay? I'm not the biggest fan of just throwing the hook over, right? I'm going to just tilt my dummy, and I'm going to block it here, okay? Hooks are kind of overrated. Once I've started to learn that we actually kind of have to play guard from here. You know, people will put weight over your back. You should be kind of trying to play guard from here. You should be trying to flip him one way or the other way to try to get to a good position of power. I really can't cross my feet over the dummy right now, but just keeping, I can move this side here, keeping this leg pinched and this leg over the back is good enough, right? And I'm trying to control the hip. Always remember that the hooks are designed to control the hips, not the legs, right? And this is kind of my end result, just going for the seatbelt position. I obviously can't really control the opponent's arms or anything. Just a subtle little note about what I'm doing with the seatbelt. The one that's under the armpit, we'll just go over the neck position here, right? If you're a fan of the hooks, go ahead and get your hooks. And we might even be able to do a little bit extra drills here. So one extra thing that we can do from here, I can use this hand. I'm just gonna grab, this is just a piece of fabric. The arm doesn't exist anymore, but you could be the collar, it could be the wrist, it could be whatever. Watch, I'm gonna straighten my body out so I can bring that leg under here. Because this leg is over, I can start to bring myself over the top. And because I went full circle, I might even be able to start hitting my arm off. Because I was trying to hit the choke, but you want to try to keep your submission situation going. You should always have these circles, okay? So I'm just going to demonstrate it slow one more time, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the timer on, and I can get my repetitions too out of this. Change the angle. Step, elbow, knee, foot. I'm looking this direction, but then I'm going to look at 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, depending on your perspective. Arm inside of the neck. I change my hips. Okay, windshield leg in. I can tilt with this hand around the corner. My dummy's belly down. You got to do what you can with the dead weight that we all are dealing with. If you have a human being, if you're a decent training partner, make them sort of turtle up for you. But the moment they turtle up, see how my hook is going to swing under. So subtly, this leg went under. I got the neck, and because I don't want him to put his weight over me, I like to use this leg to block, and I can keep my knees pinched on this. So I'm just going to set my timer on this. I'm going to get some repetition. Some of the high energy one too. And I might change it and go a couple of times. Sweet. Just a minute on this. Oh man. And I might add the armbar situation here. Oh, yes. I need to. How do I go? Up. That didn't feel like enough. It never is. Gotta get your 10,000 motions, team. Give me 1 second. All right, team. I'm gonna stick to the long step for today because I'm getting pretty close to as long as I feel like I should be talking and doing stuff, okay? If I've been holding your attention this whole time, I'd be amazed, but thank you anyway. All right, so let's talk about that in-between space. Because like I was telling you, you the camera lens, you the camera eye, you're a person too. No, I'm just kidding. We could have done a bunch of different things. I could have solidified my side control, making sure that they don't move on that, you know. He might have been tired, that might be the situation, but he might expose himself just very slightly, doing the thing that we're all taught to do, which is turn sideways. That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, and that's also kind of why I like going north-south, because whichever way my opponent turns, they're just going to do something that I'm ready for. If he turns this way, let's see exposed. Arm, neck, back. Equally such to the other side. Shouldn't even have to say the same old thing. Arm, neck, back. Okay, so when my opponent turns towards me in that predictable motion, right? If something's not going on for you, right, you don't have to feel antsy when you get to a good position. When you get to a good position, you can kind of chill a little bit. I mean, there's things that you can do to be proactive, but sometimes when you move and you're too antsy about like throwing the lapel over or whatever, anybody who knows what they're doing, that's when they're going to start moving, right? You might need to create this situation where you're holding somebody not necessarily tight, but you're in a situation where you know what you're waiting for. You should just always know what you're waiting for. And like I said, you don't have to necessarily get super antsy about going for your mount or whatever. You just need to watch how your opponent's going to tell you what to do. You know, Hicks and Gracie would say the best move to do against your opponent is the one that they're exposing. And you know, there are ways that you can help them expose, but there are going to be things that they're going to do just like based on nature, sort of thing. Like as the sun rises and as the sun sets, like there's going to be things that you'll see every single day. I know some of us have been training for a long time, and you know, it may sound like a broken record, or it may be easy for us to put all this information out, but that's why I'm trying to say these same things over and over and over, like the predictabilities, and there's things that you should be thinking about. Anyway, my opponent is predictably going to turn towards me on this. Okay, I would love to have kept the cross face and stop him and do all that sort of thing, but based on just my body type and the situations that I deal with, before I know it, I should have been thinking about long stepping around a long time ago, as opposed to trying to cross face and try to hold somebody down at this point. It's usually not the easiest thing for me, and sometimes when I overdo that, that's when we get rotated over to the other side. There's a reason to do everything. This is just a game that I'm showing you, how to long step when your opponent turns sideways. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this a little bit. And you don't necessarily have to move your dummy. I just feel like it's more realistic when the dummy moves and you kind of feel it, and it's a lot easier to drill. I know some people will drill this long step when the dummy doesn't move, but the way I kind of like to do this, if I can, bring my dummy to the side here. And obviously I have to do some of the work on this, but this is good because I like to see this space here. You want to try to create the visual for what you're going to be practicing as much as possible. There's also that visual memory thing too. That's why I say when you're rolling, you have to be your own best recorder. You have to be your own best, not necessarily training partner, but your own best coach. And remember where you're screwed up. And stuff like that keeps me up at night. Like the moment I start thinking about it, you start getting hot and warm. You basically just have to shut it off. But that's the thing that's going to propel you to get better, is you remember the moments where you messed up. But if you don't know where you messed up at all, you're already steps behind on it. So you need to be paying attention. Like I said, I don't live inside your body. You live there. You need to be your own best observer. So anyway, sometimes I'm cross-facing, right? This is a good way to just stop them from getting up to turtle initially. But I have to move this. You know, for that matter, sometimes my arm was already over here. Right? There's a couple of different ways to do this. I might have been sprawling out a little bit, blocking the face, blocking the hip, okay? Or maybe I was already reaching across over on this side here, okay? But one thing that doesn't change ever is that step around the head here. Okay? I was here, I was stopping, okay? Or I was trying to stop them from turning sideways, and I've already seen space. I might as well take it. I'm going with the flow on this. I'm not trying to swim up the waterfall. I'm going down the waterfall at this point, okay? Stepping, watch. I'm gonna switch my arms. I'm going to use my elbow, and I'm going to slice through the stomach. And don't worry, I'm going to switch the camera angle on this. And I like to use my hand to block the shoulder on this, to try to prevent it from coming down here. I'm already reaching under the dummy's elbow. I'm going to try to start to move this guy a little bit. Reaching under the dummy's elbow here. Using my hand to block the shoulder. Okay, where my hand is, that's where my chest is going to go. I'm going to go my upper part of my chest to the higher part of the shoulder. Sorry, I just got some mucus in my throat a little bit. So I have to switch my base to this kind of a very unique side control. It's one of the rare side controls where I'll be on my knees and nice and low here. Okay, so I'm going to solidify my side control, and nobody can really see right now, but I'm just showing you what I'm going to do with my arms. My arm went under the dummy's head, and I'm reaching for the arm here. Because if the dummy wants to go turtle, or whoever it is, they're going to go into an inferior turtle. So what do I mean by that? And don't worry, I'm going to switch all these angles. So if I was thinking about getting up to a turtle position and I can get up to my elbow, I'm going to feel a little bit safer, even though it's really not something that I should be doing, but it's something that they would want to do. Okay. So if I control the elbow and they move up to turtle, that's not the best turtle. And there's that little window of opportunity for that foot, like I was showing you guys from this last drill. That's when that foot swims inside to that space there. And it's kind of hard to show. My foot will swim into that space. So let's show that side control angle here. So This is a position, I don't know if it was necessarily how my instructor taught it or told me, like, it just kind of resembles what I would call a bulldozer. So we're in this weird slack control. So now notice how we're where we would want to be. My opponent is looking away from me, but I'm in front of my opponent. Okay, we're always trying to do that. He is less efficient when he can't see me. He doesn't have me between his arms, doesn't have me between my legs. This is kind of epitomized by this position. I'm in a lot of different positions here. So chest, upper part of my chest on the upper part of the shoulder here. And watch this how this is this very unique slide control where I'm pitting my hips really, really low. Ideally, I kind of want to have my toes on the ground, but really he should feel like, or whoever it is, should feel like they can't bring their shoulder down to the ground. And what happens when they can't bring their shoulder down to the ground, they're enticed to go the one direction that we're always taught to not go, which is show our back, right? Unless you really know what you're doing on that. But for the most part, they'll stay there. And there's all kinds of things that we can do, right? So if I'm staying in this bulldozer position, I can throw my leg over. And here we are in our good S-mount position where my hips are thrusting forward. That's what I love about jiu-jitsu. We're just making connections. This is like an old part of my game, and I've connected to a recent part of my game, which is doing this, the armbar the way Gumby likes to do it from this situation. What I mean by the way Gumby likes to do it, it just makes more sense the way he likes to do it, keeping his connection to the ground, as opposed to thinking that our thigh muscle is going to keep our opponent in place. It's really about that connection to the ground. Okay. So I'm just going to demonstrate and talk about this a couple more times. And I'll probably end up drilling this one for a long 2 minutes, just so you kind of see what's going on and maybe slow it down if you need to do. I just need to get a quick sip of water too. I'm talking. This is a tricky one to film. There's so many things going on here, but figure it out. Change the angle. What's going on? All right, looking good. All right, that's set for 2 minutes here. Let's try to figure out what's best for everybody. Here, everybody can see. We're in side control. Typical stuff. They turn sideways. Elbow, knee, hip. Block that shoulder. Solidify my bulldozer. Bring myself in. That's out. Hip forward, go backwards. Keep my balance. I'll stop talking. Turn sideways. Turn the front. Elbow, knee, block. That's good enough. Do this one too. Turn towards. One. Step around. Elbow, knee, go. Solidify our position. 1, 2. I'm definitely probably better on one side because of that predictability thing. Roll. Go to the other side. Adding extras. Move it over here. Turn towards me. Waiting for it all the time. Pull my arm. Side. Sideways. Step. Foot. Boom. He can't move. It feels like he can't move. Place the position. Yay. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, this is going to cool down myself. Pretty sure everybody's doing just fine hanging out in your quarantine home. Not much has changed for me. Always just chilled at home, play video games. Only thing is, can't go out to go get beer or food. All right, team. I'm just gonna do big hugs. Circle one. Shout out to all the families getting the kids to do Chuck's workout or anybody's workout. You get those workout full of snacks. Yeah. Go arm behind the head. I'm just gonna pace in a circle. Feels weird just standing in place. Switch. Feel like a cage. Down. Let me know if you recognize any of the random quotes from movies. All right, so arms up, twist our hips forward, big breath in, exhale out. Oh, it's good to cool down. A lot of us forget to do it. It takes time, I know. Just imagine all that time off that we take because we don't do the right thing when we're supposed to. I'm just preaching to the choir, mostly preaching to myself. Let's go ahead and walk out. Press the tops of your feet to the ground, head dangles low, butt up. I used to do this one wrong for a long time too. I used to do this is too much energy, I hate it. Because I was doing it wrong. Sounds familiar, right? Big breath in, switch. Oh. Lean back, child's pose. Just gonna hit a couple other basic stretches while I kind of gather my final thoughts. I filmed a good chunk of most of the stuff that I've done on the dummy before. Of course, there's always extra stuff. There's like takedown stuff that I haven't shown with it. There's probably some other goofy things too. But next time I see everybody on Monday, I'm gonna show you guys a bunch of stuff using like the posts or just trying to be creative about your surroundings. And a lot of you have already have been doing that. But I want to try to maybe give some people some ideas. And at some point, I'm going to be showing instructionals for a lot of the things that I talk about. And, it helps to have a reactive dummy, but we're just trying to facilitate the situation, thinking quarantine jiu-jitsu, or you have, one or two people around you, or whatever the situation is, right? Or if you're just by yourself, or you just have a dummy, we're doing what we can for everybody. Open up. And who knows, maybe we can get some streaming of people rolling. Who knows? We'll see if we get approval for that. Butterfly. The last thing lays over my head. Now I've got a little routine, now I've got a little workout. Already started to kind of get used to this. I don't know about everybody else, but it's really unfortunate about this sort of thing where the best part of jiu-jitsu is the people, or at least, if you have good training partners, that's the best thing about it. You really can't change that, or, we can't fix that, but we're doing what we can for everybody. We're going to be closed for extra time. But anyway, in the meantime, we're trying to keep things positive. Appreciate everybody watching me talk to myself for the most part. Appreciate everybody. Hopefully see you guys next week.